364 days out of the year, I do not care about football, and chances are, some of you watching care even less than that. But the one day I do is the Super Bowl. Oh, sorry, the big game. God forbid I get a cease and desist over. There are two football games that I care about, NFL Blitz and Tecmo Super Bowl. Tecmo Super Bowl is the first game that ever used the actual NFL team and player names, all the way back in 1991. It's crazy to even think that in a time where Madden reigned supreme, there were football games that paved the way for it, and you'd assume that a game that's 25 years old would be outdated compared to today's standards. And you would be wrong. Well, sort of anyway. Tecmo Super Bowl boasts all 22 players in the field at once, which is impressive for an NES game. You'll notice immediately that it's rough for the NES to hang though, with the well-known sprite flickering occurring constantly. The game rarely slows down despite this, and you won't have any problem figuring out which player you are or who you're passing to. Due to the NES's limited color palette, there's not a lot of difference between the players other than their skin and uniform colors. Nothing wrong with that though, just gets the job done well enough. One of Tecmo Super Bowl's defining features though is the quick cutscenes that occur in between gameplay. Sometimes it'll show a nearly missed catch or how close a player was to blocking a pass. Some players might find this a bit unnecessary, and those people are dumb because these quick cuts are awesome. Seeing your player celebrate after a touchdown never gets old, and it adds the flair that arguably modern football games are missing. Plus, halftime shows. Sure, these along with the other cutscenes are basically the same shots over and over again with different color palettes, but they've aged wonderfully. In truth, I'd take these any day over having commentators record hundreds of hours of dialogue I don't care about. Speaking of which, Tecmo Super Bowl says forget that too. One of the only voices you're gonna hear is the quarterback before running a play, and that's more than enough. The music is quick and snappy, giving a sense of urgency to each down. Tecmo were kings at making memorable soundtracks on the NES, with games like Ninja Gaiden under their belt. It comes as no surprise then that the few songs Tecmo Super Bowl has are perfect for it. And again, scoring a touchdown and hearing the voice shouted out just doesn't get old. Touchdown! Here's the thing that makes Tecmo Super Bowl so much fun. It's simple. Yes, it's football, but it's very arcadey. Tecmo Super Bowl is fast-paced, with each quarter lasting 5 minutes or less. Plays are picked from either 4 running or 4 passing plays using the A and B buttons in conjunction with the D-pad. Personally, I love this because it means whenever you're playing someone, they can't cheat and know what play you're picking. Unless they look at your controller like a jerk. While the option for an entire season, the Super Bowl, and the Pro Bowl are all there, you'll likely only ever play the exhibition mode. Tecmo Super Bowl is a solid 2-player title too, though don't expect any co-op of any sort. Tecmo Super Bowl ushered in a ton of other features that seem like nothing now, like a coin toss at the beginning of the game, fumbles, and stat tracking. Plays can be swapped out and customized along with offensive players if they're injured or in poor shape. This all might not mean much to you, but one thing to understand. Tecmo Super Bowl is part of why we have the kind of football and sports games we have today. Madden is good for people who know the ins and outs of football. I don't. I know how it's played and that's about it. Luckily, because Tecmo Super Bowl is so fast, there's no worrying about any penalties or any of that crap. Tackle people when you don't have the ball, pass that sucker down the field when you do, and it's the ultimate strategy. It never fails. Okay, except when it does. There is an issue of luck in Tecmo though. Because the sprites are so small, there are times that the ball can be fumbled or a player manages to pick a pass. Sometimes these trigger one of the quick cutscenes, other times they don't. It's not always clear why or when that's gonna happen, and that's sure to frustrate some players. Arguably all sports games have some sort of luck, but it's very apparent at times in Tecmo Super Bowl. Not enough to ruin the game, but enough to make it noticeable. It doesn't change the fact that Tecmo Super Bowl is fun to play. It's also kind of difficult to describe why Tecmo Super Bowl is so much fun though. Ultimately, it's just football, but without the overwhelming need to know the sport like the more modern day games. In a way, Tecmo Super Bowl's limitations are where it finds its strength, and where Tecmo had to breed innovation. Whether or not you're into football, Tecmo Super Bowl brings the right amount of pizzazz and easy to understand gameplay to make it fun for just about anyone. And that's something a lot of people have held on to for nearly 25 years. TecmoBowl.org has been updating the roster and teams in Tecmo Super Bowl for several years now, with people still playing and having Tecmo Super Bowl tournaments to this day. It's a testament to how much fun the game is, and how the more realistic deal isn't for the rest of us. No matter what though, you need Tecmo Super Bowl in your NES collection, even if you think you're allergic to sports.